Okay, here we're at BLOODBATH.TACTICS again. We're trying to get it, one video out a week. This one we're going to focus on Necrons. I just want to say thank you to all the people who have subscribed and liked the video and listen to us talk our crazy thoughts and our nonsense. Our channel is mostly focused on Warhammer 40k competitive tournament play. So, like I said, we wanted to dive deep into the obvious nemesis of the format, Necrons. We are all Necron players, me and Ben, and we also brought on a new guest today who's a very, very avid Necron player. I don't think I've seen him play anything else. Aiden.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi, Aiden.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. This is our resident Necron expert. As Cass said, we are both me and Cass are old school Necron players. So it was my first collection. I think it was yours first as well?
Yeah, my first as well.
But Aiden is the consummate professional amongst us, right?
Yep, that's me.
The answer is yes.
Described professionally.
It's okay. I had to tell Dave this too. We only have the best players on here and only absolute professionals. So you're a professional Necron player, right?
I am the best.
There we go. I love it. Aiden, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and I guess how you got into Necrons and 40k and where you're at?
Yeah, I mean, it started when I was little. Dawn of War was like my segue into 40k.
For sure.
100% playing that game. It was so much fun. And then Dark Crusade came out. Necrons.
Yep.
They were pretty sweet. I had no idea it was actually like models until I saw like my local Games Workshop. And then
By the way, just a segue, those Necrons on Dawn of War are broken.
Yeah, I mean, they should be.
I've never actually played it. I've seen clips of it, but I've never actually played.
I don't know if you understand this, but Necrons are canonically like the best race in 40k.
They're super OP.
They're just the best.
It's true. It's very true. So you didn't even know that models existed. We're playing computer games.
Yeah.
And how'd you get into collecting the hobby?
A lot of begging my mom for money when I was like
That's how
13, 14 years old. That was,
mine was a paper route.
Yeah.
Ooh, solid. Mine was, no, you cannot have that thing.
This is the generational divide. It's fine.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. Begging the mom for some models.
Yep.
And Necrons were your first collection, like me and Cass, of course.
Yes, always. 100%.
And David.
And
David, that's true, actually.
David as well.
Dave from last episode.
When he had
Necrons.
good taste.
Yes, that's right.
Before
that's right.
Like,
and he said he sold his
off.
Necron army, that's sacrilegious.
Yeah, I can't believe anyone doing that.
But yes, back to you. What do you collect? You're playing Necrons almost exclusively now? Where are you at right now?
I think I played a little bit of Thousand Suns back in 8th edition, and they were very fun. I liked like splashing some Zinch demons and running Thousand Suns.
Bale Flamers are great.
Yeah, I mean, like I loved horrors. Horrors were really good back in the day.
Horrors, right?
Horrors.
Aiden loves horrors. Thank you.
I painted my pink horrors blue.
Yeah.
Which annoyed a lot of people.
Pink. Oh, but you can't do that. That's cheating. Because there's blue horrors.
There is blue horrors,
but the pinks turn into blues.
Yeah. Well, that's
so that when
I would hate you if you did that.
Yeah, no,
because
it was
your
great.
Blues die and turn into blues.
Well, I mean,
see, that's
they're pink.
Problematic.
They're pink horrors that turn into
in name.
Oh yeah, you should have flipped it around.
It's a reversed.
You should have made it. Blue horrors dying into pinks.
Yeah, and it was back when Zangors were actually good to play as well. They had like an extra round of combat.
You said in 8th edition.
This was an 8th.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool. Yep.
Yeah.
In the before times.
In the before times.
Yeah,
which
for sure.
Crazy enough is a long time ago at this point now in 10th edition.
8th would have been what in 2010s. 2010.
Yeah,
ish?
about
something
back
like that.
then. I still remember games with Darren Jock, like playing back in 8th. He was constantly my tournament gatekeeper.
Sorry, he was
my gatekeeper. Like every time I would go top tables, final round, and he'd always be there just to kick me back down to the bottom.
He is your final boss.
He is.
Gatekeeper. I like that. We when I played competitive tournament Magic, it was always we had True Name Nemesis. It was a card,
right?
And you just can't fucking beat that person.
Yeah,
like whatever it is, you get paired up with them, and you're like, I just can't beat that guy.
You just got to hit more training montages. Is all it is.
I can say right now, there's a guy who won the Pro Tour back to back, which doesn't fucking happen. And he's from Cold Lake, Alberta.
Nice.
He kind of lives in a small town. Hey, if you're listening, you know me.
Shout out to. Are you gonna name him?
I'm not doing it.
Oh, okay, but he knows.
Yeah. Oh, he knows. Who
Okay,
he
got
is.
it. Yeah.
Anyways, he won the Pro Tour back to back, which is crazy,
Wild.
crazy thing to do. I've never, ever lost to him. Ever.
Oh.
And he just, every time we're in a tournament, I just come up and maybe I'm just drawing hot. He's far better than me. Like, I don't claim to be that good.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I was just his true name nemesis. Seth. Nope, not saying it. He's a good player. Great player, though. Great player. But why competitive Warhammer?
Yeah, so I think I have like a little bit of brain rot. When I do any hobby or play games, anything, I have to I start to enjoy it less and less until I take it as competitively as I possibly can, because I like to challenge myself. I like to make hard decisions, play hard games, because like that feeling when you win is like really rewarding, and it's like that dopamine that I just kind of like feed off of. It plays off into a lot of things.
Yeah.
But for better or for worse, because it happens all the time, I just have to play competitively. It's a hard switch to turn off.
I agree. That makes perfect sense.
I'm the same way.
Because you're 100% right. At a certain point, playing with your buddies is fun. Everybody loves playing friendly games. But it certainly feels like you're sharpening your sword for something. If you have that competitive bug in you, you're sharpening your sword. That's all it is. Like, it's fun. It's always good to learn the game, learn the nuance. But you want to like be the best. You want to compete with the best. And like, even if you don't get first place, like in I think the first tournament I ever played, I got like 9th or something. It felt amazing. It felt really
you
fucking
see
good.
your name on the list there, and
right. You're like,
cool.
Hell yes, dude.
And everyone's cheering you on, and it just feels awesome.
And that's what I was saying.
People cheer for you guys. Is that what's supposed to happen?
Hey, people will cheer for you after this podcast.
Yeah, they're like, oh, hey, I saw you online. Yeah.
Isn't that Aiden?
Is it the Aiden?
Isn't that the Aiden?
Yeah.
I was just on the point of like playing competitively. The other thing too is I was talking to someone recently who only plays casual. And I said to him, you really one day just got to bite the bullet and play in like even an RTT, like a small tournament, whatever, because it feels so good to be immersed in a group of people who just super want to talk Warhammer for like 2 days straight. Because as fellow nerds, you know that sometimes people just tune you out when you start blabbering about whatever, right? But to be like fully in the tournament scene, playing with people who want to talk Warhammer for 2 days is the best thing in the entire world. It's so much fun. It's a blast.
Yeah, and we're blessed here in Calgary. Our
Very
Warhammer
lucky.
community is absolutely incredible. I love like each and every one of these guys.
Yeah.
They're so nice.
Yeah. It's insane. It's so welcoming. It's warm.
Insanely competitive too. It's for like a little microcosm of like a Warhammer environment. It is cutthroat here.
Yeah, there's a ton of dragons, I would say, right? Like you can't go into a tournament and not expect to at least hit 4 of them in a 5-round tournament.
Yep.
Yeah, even Age of Sigmar community here is insane. We have people going down to.
Do you play? You play Age of Sigmar?
I dabble in Age of Sigmar.
I dabble.
Okay, dabble.
I love fantasy as a setting.
Gotcha.
So I always will go back to it. I play the odd event, but like
thoughts on the old world?
Old World, I was way too young for Old World for me personally.
So no nostalgia factor.
No nostalgia factor.
Got it.
It has just been incredibly hyped up by everyone I've ever talked to.
Right.
So I finally rebased my Slaves to Darkness, and I'm going to give Old World a try and see if it's really God's gift to wargaming. And
Or
I'll
if it's,
find that.
But you haven't
out.
played anything yet.
No, not fantasy. I've been trying to stare at race and decide on painting them or not is where I'm at.
So you haven't painted gray right now? Gray
Yeah,
highlights?
in my entire collection, my 18 race are the only things that are unpainted.
Oh, wow.
They are painting canoptic models. I just hate. I hate it. with every fiber of my being.
And the rates are the worst of those models. They're top heavy and tippy and like fiddly and tons of claws. Just the worst.
Yeah, 100%.
I hate them. I purposely don't have any in my collection yet, even though they're super strong and amazing.
I can't wait for you to build them. I don't want you to
refuse.
borrow any. I want you to build race.
I refuse.
Did you build Ghost Arcs?
No, actually.
I don't ever want to paint those
God.
ever.
The Ghost Arcs?
I
they're bad
refuse
too.
to.
Necrons have a few. Wraiths, Ghost Arcs, Tomb Blades building is the worst.
We gotta tie you down, make you build Ghost Arcs and race. That's gotta be on stream.
Both of my Doomsday Arcs, I don't have any Ghost Arcs. I bought secondhand, already assembled, so I don't even care.
That's cheating. It's a rite of passage.
Most of my army is secondhand. You should see it's an absolute mess. But I did want to ask you about a big tournament you played. Was it in Saskatchewan?
Yeah, it was in the Western Team Canada Championship.
Got it, yep.
I went there. I was on Know Your Role. So it was Adam Green, David Corrin, who was here.
Hey, we know Dave.
Was it 2 weeks ago? A week ago?
About a week ago.
Yeah.
About a week. Yeah, the podcast was out 7 days ago, so
That
it
was
has to be a week ago.
the last episode, whenever that was.
Yeah. Episode 4, How to Play World Leaders.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Check that one out. It's pretty good.
And Darren
Very good.
Jacques as well. And yeah, they are phenomenal players except for David. But
So, 4-man team?
yeah, it was 4-man team.
Yep.
So
How many teams?
I think there were 16 teams. It was
Holy
a
big.
really big event.
Yeah.
We lost out in the final round against Team Canada, but I think we all played phenomenally well.
Damn, that's a big accolade. That's a big tournament.
And you went with Necrons, right?
Yeah, I went with Necrons.
Yeah, okay.
And this was pre-Codex.
Right.
And people know Darren. People know Adam. Like they go to events all the time. People know who they are. David and I are definitely a lot more under the radar. And
You guys aren't signing autographs.
No, definitely
Okay,
not.
got
But
it.
I
Not
think
yet.
in that event specifically, David pulled some insane matchups with Grey Knights that like he had probably no right to score as high as he did, but
need that.
he pulled it off.
Oh, wow. Cool.
That's
Yeah.
huge. And so you played Necrons, Dave played Grey
Grey
Knights.
Knights.
What were the other two guys?
So Darren played Orcs.
Okay.
And Adam played his Space Marines. So at the time he was doing like I think it was Raven Guard. So he had like
Was the Space Marine Codex must have been out at that point? Maybe?
in October.
Maybe just barely?
I think it came out in October.
It
Might
was,
have been.
It was October
If you don't remember,
29th.
it's all
yeah.
good.
I don't. Oh no, it was. It 100% was. Yeah. I remember.
Because he went
certain-
Centurion.
Yes.
He
Yeah.
went Centurion Vanguard
The
detachment.
uppy downy like Centurions that they go
Yeah,
up and
because
go
they
down.
move.
Uppy-downy.
Yeah, they move 3 inches, but you get uppy downy. Who cares? Who cares?
Centurions moved 3 inches. Is that true?
Fact check.
Actually, I think, honestly,
Don't
I
have
think
any
that- I
idea.
think- I
You-
think- I think
you
they're
could-
5.
I have no idea about Space Marine
I think
anything.
they're
You could
5
say that
inches.
to me, and I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense.
they're slow as shit.
It sounds very slow. But
Yeah.
But
I
yeah.
don't think there's anything.
Well,
move.
they move 6 inches on that stratagem that makes them the reactive one.
Right.
I forget what it's called. What is it
Whatever.
called?
When you declare a
It's
charge,
the
they
Eldar.
move away.
They're doing Eldar things.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Kind
yeah.
of.
They
The
roll
worst Eldar
D6
thing.
move. Yeah.
Like the reactionary move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So big tournament. You guys, your team came second place.
Second place,
That's
yeah.
huge, man.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
So Darren brought like a really aggressive horde list.
Yeah.
Adam was playing like insane anti-tank and like shooting throughput. David was playing like MSU Grey Knights. I was playing like Tar Pit Necrons with Lich Guard. I was not
Yeah.
a warrior believer pre-Codex
Ooh.
at the time.
Everybody was, but
everyone was,
Yep.
and they were for good reason. They're really
Silver
good.
Yep.
But the main thing I didn't like is like warriors don't do anything. They just stand there and
do
get
absolutely
shot
nothing.
at.
They just
whereas Lich Guard, if you charge into Lich Guard, like you can give Custodes a little fight back.
Yep. Yep.
Which I enjoyed a lot more.
yes, right. So I mean, it feels like forever ago, but Lich Guard were the wraiths of
Yeah.
pre-Codex,
And
obviously.
that is the exact comparison.
and
yeah.
were you running like 2 bricks of?
Yeah, 20 Lich Guard, 20 Lich Guard, and some
Both with the
Catans.
Technomancer, obviously.
Double tech.
Yeah, they're fully like kitted out like
Yeah.
with Crypto
Three
Thralls,
Catans.
Reanimator. So it was Nightbringer, Void Dragon. I believe I was running Transcendent as well.
You have to run Transcendent pre-Codex for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Because with the Feel No Pain, it
Yeah,
was like
Feel
a
No Pain.
super annoying
Crazy.
model to deal with.
Interesting. I didn't see a lot of 3 Catan lists pre-Codex because the Nightbringer and Void Dragon wouldn't have their 5-up Feel No Pain.
No, they did not.
But still strong, obviously.
Yeah, so the idea, because you choose your matchups in like the WTC
Right, of course.
style like team events, and like I either went down as a defender or they set me up into a list where none of them wanted to play against. So
Okay.
I was like,
Yeah.
I was like the sacrificial lamb.
You're
in
the
a lot
toilet.
Of, a lot of these matchups.
You get
And
the
I'm
shit.
there to, because the way that the WTC scoring works, you can force a draw relatively easily.
Yep.
So I hunker down, I sit on my side of the board,
Right.
scoring my objectives.
Right.
And it's like, can you shift me off? And then
For those who
That's the
may
games.
not be familiar with differential scoring, I think it's sometimes
Yeah,
referred
that's what
to.
it is.
Yeah.
The spread. What is the spread on points? You basically, it's basically team scoring. It's based on, so if you like get super close in actual points, what is the spread? Is it 5 or 10? I can't remember exactly.
So
what it is.
I think it's like 18 total points in a game. So a draw would be 9-9, and you
Is it?
share?
It might even be 20 points.
20
actually.
points
I think
in
it's
the game.
20 because you can go
and you
20-0.
share-
That's
yeah,
the
20
thing.
I think it's like
20
5,
20
10,
New Zealand.
15,
Is it
20.
5 points?
5,
so
10, 15,
basically,
20.
if for those who are not familiar, if say you tied a tie actually would be, say, you got 80 points, your opponent got 81 points. In differential scoring, because it's within 5 points, that would actually be a tie.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's only so many points you can score in a round. So if you like win all 4 games like 20-0'd, it's caps out. So like that last win you got almost doesn't matter.
Right.
Because you hit the cap.
So that's kind of what you're referring to as, like, if there's not a good matchup for any of your other opponents, you were the toilet who took the shit. Yeah, you got to eat the shit.
Yep. Thousand Suns, no one wanted to play against them. So, so that's another matchup that I was.
And if you can get close, like if you can deny them a bunch of points, get a tie, huge.
Yeah, because they're
if you get a tie or a win, then it's great.
You sneak a little 5-point win or something.
If you happen to sneak that win, then great.
Or just keep them down.
And there definitely was games like when I played against Thousand Suns, against Trident. That was a game I was not supposed to win. I was just supposed to stall out their score.
Trident Wargaming is from Edmonton, right?
Edmonton, yeah.
That's right. Cool.
They're really good players.
I went to a tournament up there last month with a couple of our guys. Really nice guys.
Yeah, January. January you did, yeah.
Super nice guys. Yeah. Very cool.
But yeah, those types of games where it's like they don't have like a really good matchup into my team. So I take it, and those are like games that I won. And then final round, it was Votan against, I believe it was a coach of Team Canada.
Okay, so in the you did mention that briefly. Yeah. So in the finals of that tournament, you played against actual Team Canada.
Yep.
Beautiful. Do you remember what their team was? Like the factions?
So it was CSM, Votan, Aldari.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
And then...
something. I believe in you.
I want to say NIDS, but like...
Ooh.
I would have to like double
NIDS would have also had their codex at that time? Was it... it was NIDS
because it was
first,
a joint
right?
release with the codex, right?
It was what, sorry?
They released both the codexes as like a...
AdMech and Necrons were joint.
No, yeah. The other two were separate. But I think NIDS came first. If Space Marine was out... NIDS must have been out. I can't remember. It's fucking...
I have a hard time believing they ever released...
5 months ago?
I didn't even know.
Not Space Marines first.
Wait, NIDS have a codex?
What's a NIDS?
What is a NIDS?
What is a NIDS?
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, Team Canada is bringing heavy hitters, obviously.
Yeah,
the top dogs.
The Votan list was scary because they have their ignore modifiers.
Sure. Yep.
Right? So that tears apart Lich Guard. And they're like 2 damage shots.
Oh, yeah.
Lich Guard are 2 wounds.
Yep.
Right,
popped.
So they ignore their -1 to wound. He picked up a block turn 1.
Yeah, I mean the only saving grace is Philippine.
Yep.
5 Philippine.
Yeah. Hopefully you get lucky on your 5-ups. Yeah.
That's all you got.
You do sometimes.
It was like 6, and I still hate this to this day. Like when transports are good and a faction is spamming transports.
Right.
If I see 6 Sagittars, I'm mad. Like you shouldn't be able to get 6 Sagittars.
Yeah, it's
just
rough.
for shooting.
It's rough. Well, it's rough because Sagittars don't do nothing. They can shoot and also you got to pop the vehicle, you got to pop the guys inside. Of course, the whole transport issue, of course.
But yeah, no, we resoundingly lost that round. It was a very close game. I had some, to be fair, insane rolls.
Yeah.
With my reanimator. I passed like...
Ooh, back when the reanimator was a thing.
12-inch aura.
Yeah. He deep struck... like, what is their little Terminators?
I can never keep... Hearthkin?
Hearthkin or Thunderkin?
Thunderkin.
Is that right?
The melee ones, right? The Thunderkin or the
one
melee?
with the... They have like the devastating
all
wounds.
Thunderkins.
And they do like 10 billion shots.
Cass knows what's up.
Yeah. My reanimator shrugged a shooting from one of the units.
Dude,
so it was
the
like,
reanimators, even... Obviously, you don't take the reanimator anymore, typically. But they do that a lot because it's a 4-up invuln, 4-up feel no pain. They have an invuln on them?
They do not have an invuln.
Okay, then just the 4-up feel no pain. I'm thinking of Doomstalkers. Doomstalkers have the 4-up invuln.
They have the containment field, which gives them the 4-up.
Oh, you know the name of it? I don't know the name of it.
It's not quantum shielding?
No, they have a containment field.
Yeah,
quantum shielding is for
It's
vehicles.
like a containment field, Cass.
They don't. And
that's quantum shielding is 5-up invul. So what am I talking about?
Yeah. And quantum shielding, they have like that ignore damage. Like that's something I miss. I miss the names of war gear. All right, I miss like the names of like the little things on the data sheets because they used to mean something.
Yeah, for sure.
Something. Yeah, but you're right. There is no 4-up invuln. It's a 3-up save with a 4-up feel no pain.
Yeah,
which can get you out of some.
I firmly believe
tricky
4 feel no pain should never be in the game.
I feel like hot take alert.
Just because everything that has a 4 feel no pain has a 4-up invuln, and now it can just get like frustrating.
Oh, baby,
all right, so what are we talking about here? You're talking about Illuminar Cesaris.
Luminor Xeris.
Well, if you want to pair Lone Op on top of that, right?
Yeah, well, Lone Op
top.
at 3 inches.
I just played Jake's Custodes with my Knights recently, and Wardens with -1 damage and 4-up Feel No Pain when you pop it. Holy! I literally poured 2,000 points of shooting in a Canis Rex, a Warden, not to get into too much, into a group of Wardens, and they survived. Like, it was like they still had like 3 or 4 guys left. It was absolutely nuts.
Goodness.
I don't necessarily agree with you on 4-up Feel No Pain shouldn't exist.
I hate it.
But it is absolutely bonkers.
It's really gross.
It's pretty rare. It's not like you don't see it everywhere, but
Yeah, but when you do see them, things
It
like
hurts.
on the Transcendent
It hurts
Catan,
your
it's
Well,
not
right.
it's not conducive to like a fun gameplay
do you
experience.
think
I think.
do you think going from a 4-up to a 5-up, that's a game changer entirely? Like 5-up Feel No Pain. What are your thoughts on 5-up?
So I'm no mathematician.
Okay, you're no mathematician.
I'm no
Got it.
Matthew Wathy.
Yes,
but
got
Mathy Wathy.
4-up Feel No Pain
Mathemagician.
is just it drastically exaggerates like the wound characteristic. The 5-up Feel No Pain paired with the points increase
Sure.
on the Transcendent is still insanely strong.
Well, no. Since the index, the Transcendent went down in points.
Yeah,
It was
for the time
300.
being.
What's
I
that?
think they're gonna like hike Catan points next.
Oh, we,
Dataslate.
for sure.
we can get into that.
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
let's transition that.
I don't think that's a hot take alert. I think it's an obvious.
that's a
hot-
yeah. No,
And
it's a cold
like
take.
with
Yeah,
the 'cause you still pay
obvious
the,
take alert.
You still
Obvious
pay
take.
Coldest take alert.
the 10 points for
so
the
cold.
sentimental
Mine's 15
weave.
right now.
Sorry, what are you saying?
The 10 points for the sentimental weave. You still pay.
So Semper Termal, whatever it was.
September.
I said it right the first time.
Did
now,
you?
Now I
I
can't
don't-
do
I
it.
don't believe it.
Sempiternal leave or whatever.
Sempiternal, I think it was.
Sempiternal weave.
But we'll get into that. We will get into what we think will happen in the future to Necrons. We are trying to focus on Necrons a little bit. Any final takes on the big tournament? You played Team Canada, you got smacked.
Yeah, almost drew. It was insane game.
You almost drew against Team Canada.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay.
Well, my game at least. Everyone like.
Oh, gotcha. Otherwise,
Darren
you got
got like
smacked.
20 0'd by Eldar.
Love it. Of
Adam
course.
also got 20 0'd by Tau. The last team was Tau. It was Tau. It
Wow,
came back
there
to
it
me.
is. Start with a T. You're almost there.
Yeah, we didn't really get the matchups we
right.
wanted. I wanted to kind of lean into the Eldar matchup.
Right.
And I wanted.
Why is that?
Just because I didn't think Orcs would do good into Eldar at all.
Okay.
I think like I felt Orcs would have a better matchup into Votann at the time. And I felt David as a player has played against Tau so many times that he has that matchup to a T.
Gotcha.
But yeah, the things works out. I played the best I could that event. I'm really happy with my performance in it.
That's dope.
So it was a lot of fun.
Did you get a trophy?
Yeah, I did.
Hell yeah. That's all. If you get a trophy, you're
Group
good.
picture.
So was that your first team event?
It was my first team event.
wow.
Yeah, they
Huge.
took a big chance on me, and I'm glad
It paid off.
I'm glad it paid off.
That's
yeah.
awesome, dude.
For sure. And as we can see too, like, I mean, we're getting some team tournaments here in Calgary,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
it's
really exciting because that's the pinnacle of competition right there.
Yeah, so WTC ruling and terrain is very controversial to how people like it or not, because it really restricts like what armies are like good. Like I could never run triple Doomstalker on WTC terrain. Like you just
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
it's way too terrain heavy.
I don't know if I agree with that necessarily, only because there's some that are and some that aren't, basically. Like I was actually looking at them today, the 4 layouts.
Yeah, there's like one heavy.
There's a couple that are kind of don't have any real lanes, of like big lanes of shooting. The one thing that I have seen popping up a little bit more here and there is, so on the WTC terrain layouts, there's like the big blocks of ruins, right? There's actually 3 different shapes, like sizes of ruin. There's like a large, medium, and small. What I've seen is the smalls. Some tournaments are playing the smalls as not obscuring anymore. Okay. They're just going to be like forest or
so similar to like
that does change a lot.
It changes some of them a lot. I just had this conversation with somebody, but I think it was layout. I don't know, layout 2.
If you're on Stitch and Destroy, that would change drastically, right? Because
Well, it
that
does
little
depend on
ones on the
layout,
side
for sure
are obvious that you can just kind of deploy out wide. Well, out as wide as you can in Stitch and Destroy.
But they also do match deployments to the terrain layouts. So you don't usually have a super wonky situation.
Yeah, yeah,
it can happen, I'm sure, but
there is like some resemblance of like control and what terrain you can play on too. I really like the idea because I feel like some factions that traditionally are not good going into a traditional like format tournament can shine on WTC.
Right.
Just as like a flex pick that could like counter like the more you know, like Eldar was always during team tournaments was like, you need an answer for it. Like, how are you beating Eldar?
Right. And before we get too far past it, Eldar post the most recent data slate. Obviously not S tier crazy smashing the world anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think they sit now? Are they still sitting in A tier?
I think they're a solid A tier army. I've always, in every edition I've ever played, had bad experiences against Eldar. It's a faction they can't seem to balance properly.
They're A tier for sure against you.
Yeah, maybe it's the mental trauma, but something about them just...
It's a true name nemesis is what it is,
yeah,
the Eldar.
I mean, canonical, to be fair.
The
hatred lies
Necrons?
deep. Yeah.
That's true. The hatred does drive deep, right? They were created by the old ones?
Yeah,
right?
the Eldar.
Kind of, yeah.
I'm sure I think they were. Wasn't it like...
They were mad at the old ones.
On this podcast, we don't get enough lore.
Yeah.
We don't do lore very often. It's very tactical.
The Necrons went to war with the old ones.
Of course.
Yeah,
and the old ones created like the Krorks and the Eldari.
Yeah, they made the Eldari.
And maybe the humans too, but they were like little babies and didn't get there.
Humans were like kind of, I think, consequential to like the state of the galaxy. You know, like
I mean, hugely consequential. But what did the old ones create humans? No,
it was just like because after
up.
Life was created, you know, thousands of years,
life finds
millennia. You know,
life
humans crawl out of the ooze.
Yeah, like in Jurassic Park, life finds a way.
Well, the old ones died to the Necrons with the Catan.
Except for one. But yeah, they all got...
Yeah. Oh, is that true? There's some out there maybe?
There is still one, and it's
one
in the
one?
Black Library, I believe.
Oh,
that is like
interesting.
the
I didn't know
story
that.
footnote there.
Thought they
Oh,
were
really?
gonzo.
Yes.
Huh. I didn't know that.
They haven't really wrote on it for years. And retcons always happen.
Yeah, of course.
So...
Very cool. That was your quick little lore minute.
Yeah,
those who are into lore. No, don't apologize. We got to sprinkle in more lore. I think lore is fun, especially on a faction focus.
Naming the war gear.
If people name the war gear would be your game. I don't even know what anything's called. But like a little bit of sprinkling of lore is always a good time. I think people, if someone's listening to this, they probably have a general grasp on the lore, but
very rich, very fun.
For Necrons especially.
Yeah, 100%.
Necrons are great lore, especially since like in more current editions.
Yeah, they've definitely wrote a lot more, and people just always think they're just mindless robots. Definitely not true.
Well, they were a long time ago in, what did they get introduced in, like 3rd or 4th edition? They were literally just like Terminator ripoffs.
Oh, and their casts were like
the dark days of
They
Warhammer.
just stood around like, hey, I shoot, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Completely
they were based
different
off
art.
of Terminator movies.
Yes, they were literally they literally had a rule called "We will be back." That's it. It was just a straight ripoff.
Wow.
But let's transition. So that was pre-Necron Codex.
Yes. Yeah. So
we thankfully got
changed.
one of the early codexes, right? We've got to this point we've got Tyranids, we've got Space Marines, we've got Necrons, and AdMech. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. Is that it for codexes?
For Codex, there's only 4.
That sounds right.
Yeah, Space Marines, Tyranids,
we got 4.
AdMech, Necrons.
Yeah.
Did I say Necrons? Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, it's
good stuff. This is good stuff.
So you were running Lich Guard spam and 3 Catan.
Yeah.
Going into this current meta where I think it's pretty well understood that Necrons are the top tier army right now. What are you running now? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so use it and abuse it until they take it away, but triple Catan, like there's almost no reason not to. You could shift out the Transcendent in like Canoptic Court lists, which some people do.
Sure, right.
But as far as like Nightbringer and Void Dragon go, just you're slapping them in pretty much everything.
Yeah,
that
and
you're
they're
doing.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Like they're
crazy.
Yeah,
and the points don't make any sense. So you're right. Like Nightbringer, I brought this up before. Nightbringer is the cheapest of the Catan.
255. Yeah,
255, and easily the best. Like it's like not really close.
All right, and here's my hot take.
Yeah. Oh,
what about
hot take alert?
Deceiver? Is there any world we go Deceiver?
I see him all the time.
Deceiver is a very cool... I played with Deceiver once back in like... I think it was 9th edition.
Ooh, get wrecked.
But Deceiver is cool. I'm just not too much of a fan of his Catan power.
Okay.
I think his...
Golden Fists? Or, no, it's Cosmic Insanity, I think.
Yeah, it's
Cosmic Insanity.
I think he does have Golden Fist as like his
those are his melee weapons.
Yeah. It's 8
I think it
attacks,
is.
3s, I think AP.
Can confirm, melee attack, Golden Fists. Do you know what it is? Oh, and you named it. Ranged attack, Cosmic Insanity.
Yeah.
You got it, brother.
I really like his redeployability. I think that's can play into a lot of matchups really well. But I just don't like the Catan ability. I feel if I had to choose between the Deceiver or Nightbringer and Void Dragon, I'm choosing the other two.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. I think they have a heavier punch at least, right? And yeah, the redeploy is great.
Yeah.
They are cheaper, and they basically do the same thing except they're focused. So having a Void Dragon and anti-vehicle is a great thing. But Nightbringer may not have an anti-vehicle keyword, but it is an anti-vehicle.
He's anti-everything.
Yeah,
he just smashes
And
everything.
Void Dragon can fight into other things perfectly fine.
He
as
does
well.
okay. Like
the
yeah.
anti-vehicle
Yeah.
is great, but like he can still slap like elites pretty fine.
Yeah, and do you find it? What is that? Absorption? Is it what was
Matter
it?
absorption?
Matter. Does it come up often?
I mean, like, you'd be surprised about how many wounds you
Sure.
can heal in a match
Sure.
with just like matter absorption until
Yeah.
you start rolling with the fabled ones. But it is very specific because it's hard to be. I believe it's 18 inches of vehicle.
I can look it up. It's not that. It's closer than that. I'm sure.
12.
It might be 12.
It is. I got it right here. It is 12 inches.
Yeah, 12 inches. Yeah.
So it's tricky to do, but like every extra wound on a Catan.
Is crazy.
Huge deal.
Of course.
It's a nightmare for your opponent.
Yeah.
Every extra wound is a nightmare for your opponent. And then also, hey, they survive that one round, and then it goes back to you, and you reanimate, and you get that back.
You reanimate. You matter absorption. You heal. What 5 wounds on average? That's insane.
Yeah, 2d3.
Yeah, and then they have to go through
You
it
know
again.
how much work someone has to do to take 5 wounds off a Catan? That's
Yeah.
not insignificant.
Yeah,
It's
and then they have to
nuts.
go through the 4-up invul 5 field of pain all over again.
Yeah.
While getting smacked in the face.
All right, so-
and nobody wants that. Nobody wants to get
So
smacked in
Catan
the
are
face.
amazing now, obviously. Let's say you're doing a tournament tomorrow in the current meta, how it stands. You're running Necrons. Your list looks like Hypercrypt.
Yeah, I would lean into Hypercrypt.
Okay. I like Hypercrypt a lot.
I feel like Canoptic Court, as good as it is,
Yeah.
it feels a little stat checky with 12 race.
Right, because you never run less than 12.
Yeah, you're
In
always
Canoptech.
taking 12 in
Yeah,
Canoptic Court.
I think that's right.
And now you're kidding it out, too. Technomancer on each.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
for
have
sure.
to
For
take
sure.
them
Yeah,
answer.
yeah, absolutely.
The 5-up feel no
They,
pain.
people have gotten pretty savvy, and they've been precisioning out like Epic Challenge or whatever, the Technomancer, but you bring it every time no matter what,
Yeah.
for sure. of
100%.
course.
100%.
Yeah.
It's more for the viewers.
So the stat, and I don't like playing into like the stat check because I feel like a few armies that have the throughput are you charging like Custodes, like Wraith Combat.
Oh, it's not good.
It's not good.
No, it's not good. Even in Canoptech Court, we are getting rerolls to hit.
Potentially even like the.
It's
double-
okay.
yeah.
It's never killing anything. I've seen Wraiths fully survive a charge from like Wardens or something.
Yeah.
Like they are very resilient. It's
4 wounds
wild.
is a very awkward wound characteristic. to
So
have in a
bad.
model.
Like I think, and we can get into this maybe your predictions in a little bit later. But just while we're on Wraiths, I think if we see Necron nerfs in the near future, in the next month, 2 months, whatever, I think that might be. I think you nailed one of the things that might change is even in Codex Necrons. Or sorry, Index Necrons, I apologize. They were 3 wounds. That was one of their buffs. They went up to 4 wounds, which you're 100% right, is a crazy break point.
They did that because not only did they shift their invuln from 3 up to 4 up in that addition change, but they also worsened their weapon skill. Because they used to be 3s.
Yeah, they're dumb.
So that was like
They're dumb.
what they shifted to make them a little bit more playable.
Right.
But now they're just like...
They're just absolute anvil. Before the Codex... You're exactly right. Lichguard were the place to do it. And yeah, you took the Technomancer there, obviously.
And Overlord with the Resurrection Orb.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was nuts.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, this is like... And that's just like 1/3 of your list dedicated to like the bare minimum of like Canoptic.
Right.
Which then you kind of choose like, okay, like how many Catans am I taking? Because that's always a question.
Right, and that's kind of why I've shied away from Canoptech Court so far, is because it is good. Doomstalkers do fantastic in it, right? They love it. Wraiths are very strong, not because of the rerolls, but because of the strats, right? So
Yeah.
the reactive move, the low-nopping a Canoptech unit, that's why it's strong.
Yeah.
But outside of that, that's pretty much all it does.
And that lone-op Canoptic is such a gotcha.
Oh,
Like,
it's nuts.
so
I got
gnarly.
destroyed by it.
And there's you did, yeah. And it's one of those stratagems too that the opponent sometimes does not remember.
Yeah.
And you know what? You can't really go back on it because you're so far into the game. Like, okay, well, maybe you should have known this or whatever. But we're not going to retrace the steps to you going 11.9 inches of me as opposed to 12.1.
Can I just redo my movement phase
Or-
real quick?
Yeah. Oh no, but it's what? No.
No, of course not.
I mean,
especially
even-
in a tournament, you're not going to do that.
Rules that always like at last LVO. I mean, like he forgot about the 3-inch deep strike on the monolith.
That's right.
Like it,
That's right.
When you play 6 games,
Oh, or in LVO is 8 or 9.
I think think, yeah. I mean, like,
Right,
your mind...
You do 3 and 3, and then... Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Your mind is melted at that point.
You're paced, you're putty.
So,
yeah.
it's like that final game is insanely difficult.
Hey, this is a small segue, but I felt paced after yesterday.
Oh, that's right.
I'm sure we'll...
So
for the view...
we should get into that one a little bit here. I think it's a great story.
But yeah, sorry, you did ask, like, what it would bring.
Yes, go ahead.
And I don't want to run away from that topic.
So you've got...
Hypercrypt. I'm definitely
right.
Hypercrypt.
At least 2 Catan.
Yeah, so I would take the Nightbringer Void Dragon, and I wanted to still run 2 Transcendence. I want to get them while they're hot.
Oh, you're doing 4.
Yeah, I would take 4.
Everybody laughed at me.
That's what I was gonna do.
That's what I was gonna do this weekend, was run 4 Catan. Everybody was like, "No, don't do it."
No, I would have.
Come on,
idiots. They're all idiots.
Nonsense. Stop.
Still take a unit of 6 race. With the Deep Strike.
Still good. Yeah. Interesting with Deep Strike.
Yeah, with the Technomancer, the Fulcrum.
Osteoclave Fulcrum. Yeah.
And this where it's not too common, but I wanted to run a Locust Lord with 3 Emetics.
Love it.
So with the Arisen
so
Tyrant.
Good. That's so good. So good.
Now, okay, why is that for our viewers?
Yeah, run us through that real quick. I got hard
Heavy
stats if you want.
When Heavy Destroyers released, I love the models. They're just perfect. But the Emetics were a weird gun because you didn't really need them pre-Codex.
Yep.
But now we're looking at like 36 shots, sustained 1, with full rerolls to hits and rerolls 1 to wound.
Crazy.
Which is insane into a lot of things at strength 6.
Yep. Yep. AP 1/1 damage. Yep. It's nuts.
Also absolutely crazy in a Necron mirror matchup. Because if you look at it, race, they get shredded by Emetics.
Yeah.
They're really good into Catans because Catans have
just
4
that 1
pinball,
damage.
right?
Who cares? Yeah.
And with 36-inch range and Hypercrypt, you have so much freedom for positioning for angles with the Emetic Destroyers.
And again, so like, in case people don't know, you've ran down a little bit, but the Emetic Exterminator is the name of the gun. Has sustained hits 1 on it.
Yes.
So what you do is, like you said, you bring that Locust Lord so that you're getting sustained hits 1 on 5s.
5s, yep.
And because you're taking a Risen Tyrant, you're getting full rerolls on the turn that you brought them in from Deep Strike or off the board edge, whatever the case may be. And you're just fishing, and you're just getting 1,000 million hits. This is like, it's a play on the Immortal Bomb. Basically, like the Immortal with the Plasmancer. Kind of the same thing.
That's a good analogy. It's exactly what it is. It's like a mini Immortal Bomb.
Yep.
What's the points in that, though?
So it's 150 for the Destroyers, and then I think 25 points for the enhancement, and Lord is
80?
Yeah.
So a way lower investment. Obviously, not as powerful, but
it's pretty close.
There's so many. Like the footprint is small. And 24 inches on Immortals versus 36 on the Heavies.
It's true,
right? So it gives you a lot more freedom in positioning.
You won't get your rapid fire within that range, but
that's neat tech. That's neat tech.
Oh, it's super smart. It's
I like that. That's really good. I hope it doesn't ruin your next tournament.
Also, we are a big fan of Destroyers. Personally, I think
love
both
Destroyers.
me and Cass.
I love Destroyers.
I'm going to be playing a Crusade that starts next week. I think.
Nice.
I'm doing nothing but Destroyers.
Destroyer
I have a whole Destroyer cult.
I am tell you about my.
Oh, dude, I love it.
I was getting back into Warhammer, and Necrons are obviously the army that I play.
Yeah.
I didn't know any lore or really anything. This is right when 9th started. It was when I really started getting back into it. And I had a whole Necron army, so I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to stick with Necrons.
Yeah.
So I do it, and I go to G-Dub, and I'm like, I'm just looking for some stuff. I don't really know what to buy, though.
Right.
I don't know what's competitive. I don't know, because I'm a competitive player, much like you, Aiden, like, or you, Ben. Like, I need to win.
Yep.
Or, like, I need to be the best, kind of, or at least challenged. Anyways.
Oh, you're challenged, all right.
So I go into G-Dub, and they... I was like, oh, these are like Scorpion Destroyers. These are pretty sweet, right? He's like, well, what do you know about Destroyer cults? I'm like, I absolutely know nothing about them. Why don't you tell me? Well, they're good. Oh, good.
Was this at
I'll take 18.
Yeah. It was just like such a weird matter-of-fact statement to someone to say to like somebody you don't know or you're trying to sell them.
Right.
Well, what do you know about Destroyer cults, sir?
Well, sorry.
And this is the 9th when Destroyer cult was like kind of like an off-meta list. Like, I'm going to run Destroyer cults,
Name
right?
every cult right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know that Horus was the Emperor's son? I didn't. I do now, though.
I do.
yeah.
Love destroyers.
Where is the Warhammer 40,000?
Where is? You are the true Warhammer 40,000.
40K, is that like carat gold or
4DK. I will say, what was I gonna say?
I don't know.
Destroyer cult.
Yes, destroyer cult. Great. They look cool.
So we love the destroyers. We love the locust heavy destroyers. I think you're right. I think a lot of people are very familiar with the big flat 6 damage gun. We've seen those since the start of 10th for sure.
For sure.
I think you're exactly right. We've seen a rise in the Admitic annihilators. Exterminators. Thank you. The Admitic guns. And it's a great package.
Yeah.
So you're looking at your list is 3 Catan.
4 Catan.
Right, sorry, 4. He's wild.
He's only going fucking 4 Catan, not 5.
Right, I did, yeah.
And the 6
Who
rays,
does that?
I like the
6 rays.
Death marks.
Death marks. Yeah,
for
Death
the
marks
deep
great.
strike, they're fun.
Yep.
Now, what kind of role do they play besides, like, is it just scoring you objectives? Are they actually killing heroes? What are they doing for you?
They're not killing shit.
So I like them on home field objective holders.
Sure.
Just because, like, I've had them kill assassins before. Like, Calidus coming in deep striking. If they're not paying attention how they position, like, that Overwatch can kill them.
Right, and it's not just an Overwatch. They have an ability.
Yeah, it's just like
What's their ability?
If you set up with an 18, they get to shoot. Normal shoot.
Yeah.
Which is obviously very strong.
It's you have to high roll it for sure.
You do. They're not crazy good. I think the death marks are in a weird spot because they're kind of supposed to be snipers.
I think it's a stat you need to think about, though.
They just
so
don't,
if you're
don't snipe very good.
If they're sitting on the home objective and you are, assassinating, then that's something you got to think about, because what if they roll hot?
Yeah.
And then this move that's scoring you points is just gone.
Yep, 100%.
Or Inceptors in your backline too, because people don't generally run like more than 3 units of 3 coming down.
Inceptors are like the toughness 6 stuff, though, right?
I think they're 5.
They're 2
toughness 6. Yeah, Inceptors suck, man.
Oh.
If you throw your death marks
double
at
plasma
Inceptors,
pistol, toughness 6.
you're hating life if you're shooting with death marks. But like a Calidus assassin probably gets punked, right? Because death marks are AP 2 damage. So everybody's got one good shot in there, and it does it pretty good. We got some death marks. I love it. Here's my thought. Better than death marks, in my opinion, especially in Hypercrypt. Hexmark destroyers. Thoughts?
I love Hexmark destroyers.
In terms of...
My destroyer brain says this is a destroyer unit, must take.
Yeah, in terms of scoring, I'm always hesitant for... giving up a lot of points in characters. I feel fine with it when it's Catans.
Fair.
Because Catan's like our investment to kill. But the Hexmark can die pretty easily. And I think it's definitely an option to take like 1. But with their like rules changes, like spamming Hexmarks runs out of value like
they're not killing anything. They're not meant to kill. They're lone up, they're uppy downy.
Well, before it was really easy to snipe characters with the successive like ability triggers.
Because they had the precision on the pistols.
Yeah.
They did have precision.
So
they now have
index
cover.
They did, yeah.
Yep.
So in like pre is like you're getting 18 shots at a character, right?
You're getting from the
Hexmark because you could score it off multiple shooting attacks from the. Now it's only once.
Oh, you're talking about the shoot back.
Yeah.
Right, understood. Yes, that
And
has been changed for a while.
You're 9.
Yes, yeah. There was a weird world where you like triggered a bunch of like shoot backs. That's not happening anymore. Obviously,
I saw it once on PlayOn, and they did a shoot off. Warrior Hexmark, Warrior Hexmark, and then whoever won the initiative, won the initiative, and they just kept shooting.
They just shot back the whole time,
and that was all in the same phase.
literally
one shooting phase.
Yeah, that was great.
And then I wanted to try. I haven't played this yet, so it's a lot of experimentation.
Yeah, we're brainstorming right now. Yeah.
With the Imhotech and 5 Lich-Guard as 185 point
I like
battery.
that.
Why Imhotech for that?
You get the extra CP at the start of your command phase.
Yeah.
So having, especially in like the era of like everyone getting like a Vect, it can add up.
Fair enough.
Here's what I'll say.
And you have the one like Emperor Palpatine move, and
you get the lightning once.
Once per game. It can come up, right? And especially if you're putting the Lich Guard, like especially with Lich Guard, you're kind of running right into it, right? So that could maybe happen,
Even because I was thinking about just leaving like back. It's 5 Lich Guard and Imhotech, right?
Yep.
I feel like that'd be a very annoying unit to try to chip down with indirect.
Yeah.
So
fair enough.
There's no indirect that's taking them down easy for sure. I will say that's where I kind of went as soon as we got our codex. I've moved away from it in Hypercrypt specifically. only because if you're not running a monolith in Hypercrypt,
You're
have
running out
two
of things to dump,
stratagems.
yeah.
You have
sure.
Cosmic Precision, and you have whatever the heal your dudes when they're
When
up
they're in
in
Cosmic.
is. You have 2 strats, so you don't really need that much CP. And
Sorry, did you just say the 3-inch one? That's a strat though too.
that's
right?
so that's Cosmic Precision.
Oh, sorry,
that's
yeah,
what that
yeah,
is.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
the 2.
Yeah.
The other 4 in that
Are all monolith,
are
right?
all monolith
Yeah.
strats. So I found in practice that while it's nice to have extra CP, Imhotep himself, I was just looking up, does cost 100.
Yeah, it's like 185 points for the
You
unit, I
do,
think.
yeah. Lich Guard are 85, but you do need a noble with the Lich Guard to activate their -1 to wound. But you can take, say, I've been messing around a little bit with Trazyn the Infinite.
Now why him?
Because
What's going on with him?
he's 75 points instead of 100. Say a little bit of savings there. And Trazyn has sticky objective.
Okay.
So little bit of a tech piece, especially in Hypercrypt. You can sticky your home objective. Maybe they just sit on that.
And he's
right?
running solo?
No, he's with the Lich Guard. So the Lich Guard
Oh,
have
sorry.
their
I missed
-1 to
that.
wound.
Yeah,
Lich Guard get their -1 to wound because Trazyn is a noble.
yeah, it's
And
bodyguard.
Motec is a noble as well.
Yep, he is. It'll activate it. He's just cheaper, and
He has the sticky. which is
maybe
actually
maybe
pretty
you
cool.
just lead them on the home objective the whole time. That might just happen.
And I like that we're sticky with a hypercrypt. If you're going uppy downy and have a sticky,
That's right.
That seems quite huge to me. And if you don't want to go uppy downy, it's not like they're not easy
No,
to
they
kill
just chill.
either.
Yeah.
They do the
right?
same thing Imhotep does in that case, where you never pick them up. Great, you never pick them up the whole game, but you save 25 points. You do sacrifice some CP. Not that CP's bad. CP's always good. But if you're going tactical anyway, you're gaining CP some turns, maybe
You're
half
gaining
the
a little
turns
bit
anyway.
more. Now,
Not that you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong by any means, but just a counter.
Yeah, I
to
haven't
what you
played
think.
with Imhotep yet. It's
Yeah.
definitely something I wanted to give.
He himself is not super strong. He does have his lightning
Yeah.
ability. It's meh. He's got a flamer.
100
it's meh.
points is a little.
100 points is a bit much.
hard.
yeah, it's high. It's high. I mean, like when you look at like a Death Guard model like Typhus, who's well, I mean, he's insane in combat. He has mortal wound bombs. He has a small base, smallish base, 45 mil.
Yeah.
But he's 80 points. 80.
Yeah.
Right?
He went down in points?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, crazy. Madness.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's in every list.
So, not that you're wrong, but you might be wrong.
never in my life have I ever been wrong.
Does that round out your list? What else are you thinking? That's pretty close, hey?
It's pretty
That's
close.
close.
Yeah.
What is there any...
What about Tomb Blades? How do you think about them?
Tomb Blades?
love a good Tomb Blade.
Tomb Blades are
Yeah.
great.
Good call, Cass. Good call.
You kind of choose what flavor
Yep.
of action units you kind
Yes,
of want,
for sure.
right? Because you have flayed ones, you have Tomb Blade. If you're in
Scarabs.
Canoptic Courts, I've seen people take Arcanthrites, which
Oh,
are
yeah.
the Forge-rolled Canoptics. They are 15 more points than
Yep.
flayed
But they're
ones.
tough little guys, yep.
But they do have Infiltrate too, and they have like little Meltas. Like they're cute models.
Yep.
So you definitely choose. You have a lot of options in like what you choose for your actioning units.
Of course, yeah.
I do like Tomb Blades a lot. I like particle beamers. I think particle beamers are like such a nice weapon to have.
For sure. With dev wounds in it.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I think you're exactly right.
And then the moving scoot's pretty, or the shooting scoot's pretty good.
Scoot's good.
Yeah.
It's in Hypercrypt. So I saw a lot of Tomb Blades pre-Codex.
Yes,
We
yeah.
didn't have Hypercrypt yet.
Yeah.
And in pre-Codex times, Tomb Blades were like the undisputed best secondary scorers, objective doers, whatever.
Yeah.
Sure
as
they
soon
are.
as we got access to Hypercrypt and stuff like Hexmark Destroyers cannot be Downy or Transcendent King Tank can get picked up and put elsewhere, all of a sudden it does, like you said, it opens up like Death Marks and stuff like that are a little bit more valuable because they can deep strike. I think Tomb Blades are still super good because a big play that we saw from like Matt Laura at LVO was with his Immortals, right? They had Chronomancers in 2 of the 3 squads, whatever.
Yeah.
it was.
There was 2 squads with Immortals.
Right, with
Yeah.
Chronomancer,
Chronos.
right?
Yeah.
So he would drop in, he would
what I meant to
shoot,
say.
and he'd scoot on the objective. Tomb Blades just do that. For 3 of them are 75 points.
And it's really great too because with an Immortal squad, you can move, advance them, shoot,
Yes.
and then move them again.
You can do the exact same thing with Tomb Blades if you kit them out properly, right? You were saying the particle beamers got the dev wounds, so you definitely want a couple of those. I think the play is still take one of them with the whatever the Tesla gun is on them, so you can move, you can advance, you can shoot, and you can move again.
Right.
Crazy, and they have a Scout 6 move. I think
Oh wow.
they're so fast. They're so fast. Like
I think Scout's one of the best mechanics.
having access to a
Scout,
turn
yeah.
a turn 1 deploy teleport homer in your opponent's objective, or a turn 1 behind enemy lines with which would be a dead card in 75%
But
of lists.
I mean, and just the ability to kind of just change the deployment too, right? And yeah,
100%.
sure, redeploy is obviously amazing and better. But having scout, it's relatively on cheaper units. They're more chaff, and having that ability to like, oh, I do go first. Well, I'm going to get my easy deploy right here.
Zoom.
Done.
Hypercrypt is another reason why I like it more than Canoptek Court. Is it's very, there's a lot more freedom when it comes to like what you're throwing in.
100%.
Other than obviously like
a lot more
blah blah blah.
A lot more decisions to make too, though.
Yeah, for sure. But also makes your opponents make a lot harder decisions as
100%.
well. I mean, like playing against Canoptek Courts, you're shooting race. Like your opponent knows they're shooting race. Cool. They're gonna play the game like that.
We know the game. We all know the score.
I like that point too, because the opponents are forced to make decisions, but they're forced to make decisions based on speculation. They have no idea where you're going to go. Like, if you're like, okay, I could go there, but I could also go here, or here, or here. And then now all of a sudden, their brain's now racked with all these different options, and they don't know how to make the optimal play. Now, obviously experienced players will.
Yes.
And you hope they do. But, if you're going against a mid-range player, it's probably going to be...
And again, mistakes happen, even in top tables of LVO, like we talked about.
Yep.
Like mistakes can always happen. So
legendary.
Such a good line to always have in your back pocket is just making your opponent make as many decisions as possible, because they could make a mistake.
Or you're 100% right. Give them those hard decisions that there's really no good option, and then capitalize on whatever they do. I was going to ask a question. So Canoptek Court came out gangbusters after the Codex. That was like everybody played it. It was easy because, like you said, everybody knows how to play that. That's obvious.
You move race.
We're going to slam you with race, and we're going to shoot you.
And then the Immortals.
Will shoot stuff, and we're all good.
Yeah.
I think Hypercrypt is the more big brain, but it has the higher skill ceiling, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot more skill expression to be happening there, so that makes sense that it's now kind of like taken over as like the popular option. What do you think? And I'm curious because I've followed the meta a fair amount with Necrons. Other detachments have been played. What do you think? So of the other ones,
what notable ones have you seen?
I'm curious what you think. I'm curious if you say I
Let's put you on the spot first.
Listen, you're the guest. I'm the host. I make the rules. So outside of you cannot play Canoptek Court. You cannot play Hypercrypt. What detachment are you playing?
I'm just playing Awakened, I think.
You know what? You're exactly right.
The plus one to hit on race are actually answer. Like not. It makes race a lot more combat heavy. The plus one. As much as I love Lichguard, Praetorians, I love the stat lines and the stratagems.
How do you even pronounce that one? The obeisance. Is that how you pronounce that word?
No.
Obescience?
Ophidians or...
No.
What is it? What are they?
No. It's
but yeah.
Hold on. I'll pull
which
it
one
up.
Is it?
I'll pull it up.
Ophidians?
No. You're thinking of the... I'm thinking of the... Here, this one at the bottom here. This word at the bottom here. With an O. How do you pronounce that?
Opsians?
Can't be right.
I believe it's
obeisance. Like based on the word obey. Right, obeisance, phalanx. I don't know.
I just call them obebes.
Yeah.
Hey, baby.
That's just like Ophidian destroyers. Yeah. Listen, we have destroyer brain rot. It's fine.
Hey, what do you know about destroyer?
I don't know much. Nothing. But you're 100% correct. If you go look at Goonhammer, top performing Necrons right now, it's Hyperphase by a mile, Canoptek Court close behind, but Awaken Dynasty is kind of starting to make some moves, and I think it's because the strats are really, really good.
They are.
The plus one while being
good.
led is like the detachment rule is very strong, but the strats are ridiculously good.
Like sniping your characters is way harder to do.
Sniping your characters, keep running back. They have the best reanimation strat. So every detachment has their own version of reanimation, right?
Sure they do,
Hypercrypt is doing it while you're up in Hypercrypt. I think Canoptek does it when you get charged, right? I don't play a lot of Canoptek.
Canoptek? I think it's after like a model dies after combat.
No, that's Awakened.
Oh, that's Awakened.
So Awakened is the good one. Whatever the other ones are, theirs is the best.
What's the Canoptek one then?
Annihilation Legion, nobody knows, obviously. Annihilation Legion gets to trigger it.
That's the destroyer call.
That is the destroyer.
Yeah.
I believe it's after they kill a unit for destroyers.
You're close. It's to kill a unit or get it below half strength.
Oh, beloh half strength.
Both of them. Go kill stuff.
I love asking my opponent if their unit's at half strength.
Which is my favorite thing. Why aren't they just dead? I'd rather just to be dead.
Right.
That's what I hate about flayed ones is that they have to but below half strength they get all these busts. They should just be fucking dead. Yes. I want to charge them and kill them. I don't want to be. playing around here. Like,
No, I'm not playing around. I'm trying to kill you.
I want to slaughter.
But so you're right. Awaken is the best because as soon as you lose a model in either shooting or fight phase, so you actually could trigger it
Okay.
twice per turn, right? And in addition to that, you actually get a little buff if you're being led by a. If the unit's being led, you get a +1 to that roll. So it has by far the best reanimation strat. It has bring characters back. It has if in melee combat +1 strength, +1 AP. That's huge. All of a sudden, maybe Lich Guard aren't super strong. If they're hitting with +1 strength, +1 AP, they're hitting a little bit harder. And or I guess you could use on a Wraith. I don't think there's a limit.
I don't think Awaken is keyword locked for.
I don't think it is. It might be infantry. Maybe it isn't even.
Which is both crit.
You have to be led to get both sides of it. Yes. So it is locked in that fashion that you have to have a leader in your squad.
Yeah. So you're paying the leader tax for pretty much everything.
But I think that's the way you build Necrons, anyways. I mean, most units are most units are led.
But
exactly.
As people play the game against. Because it's going to be the dominating force for a little hot minute until like next balance slate. We see what happens.
Right.
People get used to playing against Hypercrypt. People get used to playing against Race and like sniping Cryptex, playing against that. Awaken gives you just more of a well-rounded play style and a bit more of the answers to the counterplay that Necrons traditionally hit, which is like their characters dying.
Yeah, understood.
Now, in your list that you're gonna take or that you would take, what kind of enhancements are you? What kind of heroes are you taking?
So it was the Arisen Tyrant, which you would never take unless you're taking like that lead unit of destroyers.
Yes,
right.
But then the Deep Strike Race, just to play with the Hyper.
And just kind of keep going on with that.
Something like that.
I wanted to touch on like I think one of the more recent ones was Josh Campbell's Canoptic Court list because he made some interesting takes in Canoptic Court with like
just keep going.
So was this a recent tournament that you saw?
So he lost out final round to Sisters, which was interesting. It was a really hard game. Morgan Vol just I think I might have seen this.
This was not this past weekend, the weekend before maybe?
Yeah, it was like the weekend before.
Okay, so about a week ago.
Morgan Vol's only okay.
So Josh brought a Transcendent Catan in Canoptic Court, stuck with the Reanimator as well.
Okay. Yes.
Which you don't see taken too often.
I see it in the court only because it is Canoptech, and you can lone op it, you can reactive move it, and
so you have the protection for it.
Yep.
The Transcendent gives you a little bit more like shooting range.
Sure.
So you're not relying entirely on I think two Doomstalkers is what he took.
Yep. Sure.
Very interesting. I think it plays objectives a lot better.
Okay. Was it still 12 Wraiths?
Yeah, still 12
2
Wraiths.
Doomstalkers,
Void Dragon, Nightbringer.
Void Dragon. So Void Dragon, Nightbringer, and Transcendent?
And Transcendent, yeah.
So really, what's the tag?
So this is just the list that you described to us.
Yeah. It was so basically when we hit the points.
Where's your tech here?
So we throw a Reanimator in, and that's your list.
Transcendent is kind of the tech.
Okay.
For that
in
one.
Tech, right? Oh, that's right. You were talking Hyperphase, Hypercrypt. So in the court, right?
Because I mean, 275 points is a lot of points.
A ton of points,
yeah. Because you would generally branch out at that point, getting into like your Tomb Blades or your Arcanthrites for objectives,
Immortals, whatever.
Yeah.
Right. Excellent. And what I was going to say is, so we touched on some off-meta detachments, right? It's very clear that. Well, it's such a good question. I'll ask you as the professional, obviously. Between Annihilation Legion and the Obescience.
Yes.
I think that's how you pronounce it. We're going to call Obeisance.
No, Obebe.
The Obebe. The Obebe detachment.
Yeah.
What's better?
I would. So. Stat lines are definitely better on Lich Guard than they are on like the Scorpex.
Sure.
I love Destroyer models.
Well, it depends if their Scorpex are way killier than Lich Guard.
Yeah, sure. They just don't. They can't take a clap back.
That's for sure not with a 3-up save
with no access. Like really fights first. It's like it's a really hard unit to play a melee game with.
Yeah, and especially if you're going against any kind of MSU list, you're just killing the 1/5 person unit, and then you're out there in the open and you're dead.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I love Locust, but I hate Strength 5 guns.
That's not a good strength. That's not a good strength line.
It's strength. If Locust were strength 6, I'd be way happier about that. That strength pip when pre-codex is I used to run like Silent King 12 destroyers.
Right.
And I used to have a really good time at events with that.
That was the 9th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that list. Yeah.
And I had really good times with that, but like the strength 5 has caught me off guard so many times because like, my shooting is just worse.
Yeah, and it sucks too because it was strength 6 before, but now it's strength 5, and then not only is that when it came out of the index, everyone's toughness went up.
Yes,
Right,
yeah.
right.
So
Everyone's like Terminators are now straight toughness 5. Now, granted, they always should have been. I always think Terminator should have been toughness 5.
Right.
But they weren't. They weren't 9th, and I can see why having a strength 5 weapon now against toughness 5, you're sitting there like, okay, well, we used to wound you on 3s, now I'm wounding you on fucking
maybe 5s.
4s and 5s.
Phaeron -1 to wounds, things good.
Whatever it is.
I'll make a case right
whatever
here
modifiers.
for the Locust destroyers, in that. That's weird because the Annihilation Legion does nothing for them.
Yes.
It's specifically reroll charges and like melee stuff. You can give them -1 to hit, which is
Doesn't it give +1 a charge at all?
It does if they're below half strength.
And
so you get reroll charges always with destroyer units and flayed ones. And then
For sure.
which I mean sometimes you're charging with your locusts because the Lord does kind of smack with his Overlord's blade. It does happen. But really don't think they get -1 to hit sometimes. But even in something like Awaken Legion or Awaken Dynasty, and Hypercrypt Legion, what you do with your locusts, they are only strength 5, but you give them a Locust Lord, they're now lethals on 5s.
Yep.
With rerolls.
Yep.
Right, you can access some rerolls here and there. You can reroll to wound. All of a sudden, they are
Which is arguably more
auto
powerful than
wounding
hits.
on -2 AP, 2 flat damage. It's a fair amount of damage. That's going to wipe a Space Marine squad for sure.
I think the problem.
Do you think that would wipe a race squad?
Absolutely not. Zero chance.
Let's go. Come on. Let's go.
0%
in Magic,
chance.
you
I don't think so.
No, absolutely not. No, definitely not.
How many attacks?
So I think it's 3
shots
each.
each?
3 shots each on 6 dudes. That's 18 shots. You're going to do... Oh, Jesus, hitting on 3s. I mean, if you're an Awakened, you're hitting on 2s. Like, it's not going to do a lot. I mean,
2s and
not
getting
against
lethals.
Wraiths. They're not good in a Wraiths. They're not good in the Wraiths. They're into anything that's less tough than Wraiths, which is like one of the toughest units in the game.
Yeah.
I'll
Does
tell you
okay.
how to kill that.
Like some of my anti-tank with Death Guard is
Yeah.
Death Shrouds. Now, they're only
Right.
2 damage weapons.
Right.
But they're hitting on 2s. They're wounding generally on 3s most of the time.
Right.
And they're AP -3, so they're putting them in their invols all the time and then going right down to... Now, there are 4 wounds, which is the most annoying part. But every 2 that goes through is 1 dead Wraith, and then we're just sitting in the back. Or we're sitting there contesting at a point, but I will always win that combat in the grindy match because you can't really bully them.
Right.
So what I'm saying is that maybe you can with that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to...
Because Wraiths aren't going to hit you hard. They're not going to hit you hard.
do shit to you, obviously.
So then you're going to win that
And also, you're
attrition.
doing this from like 24 inches away as well, right? So it's like...
That's 2 feet, Aiden.
Thank you. I don't.
Listen, he knows. He's a pro. He knows.
No. All
He knows.
right, that's a little side.
Listen,
That's a segue.
that's
Maybe
my
we'll explain
case
that
for
joke
race.
later.
Sorry, not my case for race. No one needs a case for race. That's my case for the Locust Destroyers. But you think Obeisance is better than
I would
Annihilation Legion?
rather play that than Annihilation Legion. So I don't like the transition Destroyers had into mounted instead of infantry.
Oh,
That
right,
is
of course.
right,
That hurts.
yeah,
That
yeah.
that hurts for
Playing
sure.
and Destroyer
Yep.
footprints, huge.
Yeah.
They're pretty
Very hard unit to maneuver in terrain-heavy boards with no infantry keyword. It kind of sucks.
Yeah,
trying to
I agree.
maneuver
For
those
sure.
around.
Yeah.
For sure. Veil of Darkness, Hypercrypt helps. So there's ways around it. But yeah, for sure. Being mounted sucks. It's
But
just
then you're in Awakened, right?
objectively better. Yeah, so in Annihilation Legion, which I mean is the Destroyer detachment, I have played games with them. They just don't. It's whatever. You play them because you're playing Annihilation Legion because you want to have fun and goof around with Destroyers.
They should give Destroyers a 5-up involved, like Scorpex.
Ooh, hot take
yeah.
alert. Boop, boop. Hot
I
take
think
alert.
that's actually great. That's great.
That'd be dope. That would be so good.
Because their
Yeah.
killing power is respectable, but like they just can't live. They can't.
They cannot live.
die to any
And
form of
here's
shooting.
if they don't do that, here's what I think they should do. Because I've actually messed around with, I mentioned it before,
Yeah.
Crusade Destroyer cult shenanigans. As soon as Scorpex have like a 9-inch scout or an infiltrate, holy moly,
They can be
they're
scary.
smashing faces.
Yeah.
And your opponent, almost like a World Eaters type situation, your opponent has to respect that that range all of a sudden, they go crazy. I don't know if we'll see something
Also,
like that.
infantry on the Scorpex, notably.
Also,
too.
infantry
Yeah.
on the Scorpex, they just sprint at you and move 8. Like, they're pretty fast. Annihilation Legion, you'll be rerolling charges. I don't think it would ever happen, but if we ever see a buff to Scorpex, I'd love to see even a Scout 6. Infiltrate might be a bit strong, but like a Scout 6 or something, we'll see Scorpex.
I can see a 5 up
Deep
bid
strike.
roll.
We can give Scorpex infantry.
Or what if you give?
Right.
Wait, did they still have that strat now too? The what was it called, Whirlwind before? It was a -1 a wound.
Yeah, it was -1 wound.
Nope. Doesn't
Is it
exist.
still?
Nope. Doesn't exist.
It's -1 to hit now, isn't it?
-1 to hit in Annihilation Legion.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh,
Which,
that's
which is
way
good.
worse.
Like it's good. It's because it does last for the whole phase, right? Like you can give one destroyer or flayed one unit.
I'm going to stop you right there. It's not nearly as good as -1 a wound.
Oh, I guarantee
yeah,
it's not.
stop
For
it.
sure not.
Just stop the
Mind
nonsense.
you, destroyer bodies are 6, toughness 6. So like they
I think
sometimes
they're good. I like where their points are right now.
point wise.
Yeah, Scorpic, I feel like that's
Oh,
a pretty...
for Scorpex, the Lords.
What are they at?
Lord's overcosted,
yeah, yeah.
but 100 for 3 for
Yeah.
Scorpex,
Yeah,
I
That's
feel
good.
like is...
Yeah, that's good.
I want to keep them there, and I
Yeah.
want to give them a little bit extra spice.
Like a good old scout move.
Yeah.
I think you're exactly right. I think 100 points, and this is probably the way you play Scorpex in the current meta with their current rules and everything. You're not playing Annihilation Legion. You're playing in Hyperphase. You're playing whatever. But just taking a little 3 Scorpex for 100 points and tucking them in behind some ruins or something and popping them out. That's 4 attacks each. You can pop some dev wounds.
Sure.
They kind of
Do you think they're maybe just maybe for the sake of the game? Do you think they're maybe too killy for a scout move?
No, not when you have Exalted 8-bound that can get scout moves.
Yeah.
No.
And a lot of their damage is...
Yeah, that's a very fair point. Yeah,
The
and
answer
that's right there. Yeah,
the answer
right
is no.
there. Yeah, the answer is no.
I mean, for the combats that matter, you're always going to have your plasma sites, but that's something to always take a note of. You're getting your plasma site usage, and that's a lot of where their damage is front loaded from the dev
for
wounds,
sure.
right?
And then
So,
you add the Scorpec Lord into the mix, who is he's such a weird because it's a counter synergy, right?
Yeah.
For those who don't know, the Scorpec Lord gives the Scorpex and himself, for that matter, lethal hits. But when you pop your plasma site, you get dev wounds.
It was a weird design.
It's a
yeah.
super weird design. The Scorpec Lord himself does have a 4-up invuln, so in practice you see him out surviving the Scorpec.
I think it'd be
by
better
a
if it was
lot.
sustained or something.
Oh, it'd be crazy.
Yeah,
It'd be
yeah,
crazy if it was
yeah.
sustained.
Yeah.
Even that buff would be good. He's 100 points himself.
How about we do that buff and then increase the points by 20?
Ooh, on the Scorpec Lord, he's already overcosted. But if he had
No,
if
but
he
the
had,
of the destroyers
of
where
the-
they are
of
at.
the
So because if
Scorpex
you can do
themselves.
all 3 of it,
or
I think that's actually a fair trade too.
5 points of models, call him 115 for the squad, and the Lord gives sustained.
Right?
That's spicy.
And at that point, I think
boys.
it's still pretty fairly costed, not
Yeah.
undercosted, but
Definitely not. Somebody-
you know, something at least impactful in the game that's going to matter.
Somebody get James Workshop on the phone right now. You calling him right now?
Yeah, I'm
Okay, give James.
I have him on.
Give,
Yeah, we got you on camera.
You got James
It's
on
on.
speed dial.
Yeah.
Give James a call.
I'll get
Let
on,
him
get
know.
on it right now.
But I appreciate that. I think this is good. And that was my next question, actually. We'll transition into that. We've talked about the heavy hitters. We've talked
Yeah.
about the Wraiths. We've talked about the Catan. Everybody knows those are good units. Deathmarks may be a bit of a hot take, but I don't think that's too weird. What's a data sheet that you think...
Silent King.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like maybe a hidden gem.
I love the Silent King.
Yeah, okay. Sure. I'll accept that.
Getting a centerpiece as Necrons was the coolest thing ever. I love the lore of the Silent King. I love the rules, especially the no modifier aura.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
has
huge. That's
so
it.
much
Huge.
potential to be so good.
Yeah.
That it's just like once we bring them down from that like 400.
Hey, I played in
point
Death
threat-
Guard all the time.
Oh,
It's
he's-
amazing.
Yeah.
Like-
he's expensive. What is he at?
Yeah.
400
425
right now.
Is he 400 even?
I think it's
Not 425? Oh, 400?
No,
It might-
425.
it might
is
be
ninth.
425.
I think he's.
Hold
is
on,
he-
hold on.
Is he 400?
But continue. I'll look it up for you. The Silent King.
Ignore modifiers though.
It's
Just
really
to say, wait, it is one of the best abilities in the game right now. It is important to have it. It's a game changer in
Yeah.
a lot of matchups.
Yeah.
It's you need it. I think every army should have it though.
So the Silent King is Blaze It, 420 points.
420.
Blaze it.
Whoa! I was
no,
over
it's
price to right rules.
Overpriced.
Yeah.
Rules, yeah. But I think you're right, because I've seen some pretty spicy lists popping up recently where you basically do like a Necron Death Ball, where you have your Silent King in the center of it, you have your Locust Heavy Destroyers with the big flat 6 damage,
Yep.
ignoring modifiers in like the 6-inch aura or whatever it is, and you're just it's in the counter matchup. destroyed.
Yeah.
Like that Necron who's playing 4 Catans, 3 Catans, whatever, is just super dead. And I think that it's. I think they're playing that in Awakened. I'd have to go look at the exact.
I feel like
thing.
Awaken would be probably a good fit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like, even I played a little bit with Silent King, like triple Doomstalker and Canoptic Court, which was really funny.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Because, like, I can't say it's like anything
good,
that would do super well.
Because you want that's so many points to have sitting in your
Yes,
backfield.
yeah.
I think you're running the same issue with Death Guard probably with Mortarion. Mortarion's
325.
right,
Well, a
so
lot less.
not quite as much, but you don't want your Mortarion sitting back with your Plague Burst Crawlers the whole game.
No,
Right.
it needs more of a countercharge kind of unit that
Right,
way. So support
exactly.
countercharge, and then
Right.
you kind of enter game it, death ball it with all the tanks
Right.
near the end of the game. Or he's also a piece too that you can expose and hide your tanks because he's the toughest.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I don't think you take Silent King in court.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, it's not like it's more of like a for fun. Because the one thing the Doomstalkers modifiers really suck against them.
Sure.
One Doomstalker I feel like is awesome because their Overwatch trigger, you can really keep your opponent on his toes.
Sure. Yeah.
Or their toes, pardon me. But for the Doomstalkers, like, once you start hitting them with like the -1 to hit,
Oh yeah, they're in trouble.
they struggle really
Sure.
hard. And D6 shots, as we know, are like
So swingy.
they're feast or famine for
wild.
sure.
Well, hey, let's talk about yesterday. I mean, like you were
That's right. What did
yeah,
you even say?
yeah. Well, this is the list that he's actually talking about.
Yeah.
So he ran 3
Right.
Doomstalkers, Silent King, 1 Destroyer, 1 Hexmark, and a Spider.
Yeah, you have to give them the feel no pain.
This was
Yeah.
just for context for people who
This is
don't
a
know.
doubles
This was
event.
a 1,000-point list. You're being paired up with another 1,000-point list randomly.
Yeah.
And Cass and Aiden played together in the final
round
of the game.
purely
Or the
for
tournament.
fun event.
Yeah, of
purely
course.
fun.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
actually really enjoyed that event. It was really fun.
It's one of my favorite events that happen in the year.
That's dope.
Yeah, it's
That
that was
and Highlander.
in Highlander. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I got to do that. Yeah, I think I had to dip out almost last minute of Highlander this year, so I'm looking forward to it next year. But
So
or
sorry,
this
run me
area,
through that 1,000 points again. Silent King,
Triple Doomstalker.
Got it.
In Canoptic Court.
Yep.
We got a Hexmark.
love it.
1 singular Destroyer.
And a Spider. Why
And
a Spider? Where's the
Big-
Spider coming
Feel
from?
no
Just
pain.
giving feel no pains to the vehicles.
Oh, so it's just chilling back with
And-
your
Yeah, I mean, you're deathballing everything anyways, so
right.
for a use of 75 points, I think
Yep,
for the
75,
Spider,
I think 75, that sounds right.
like giving your entire win con of your army a feel no pain
Right.
was pretty handy.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So the just the Doomstalkers.
or wherever you're
That's
at,
fair
right? Like we had to, in our match in particular, we had to kind of move around a little bit, but we couldn't. We kind of pinned.
Yeah, I mean, the footprint's obviously like really unplayable
yeah,
with the Silent King and 3 Doomstalkers.
Yeah, that was we had some weird interactions there.
Yeah.
But actually, Silent King is the thing that actually won us the game.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys did win your matchup, hey?
Yes,
We
we did.
did.
Oh, there you
It
go.
was-
Yeah, we
Good
did.
guys.
It was insane. 49 to 51.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was
What the heck kind of game is that?
It was
It was nuts.
crazy.
Wild.
It was
Just
nuts.
a murder game where like no one's scoring points. We're just killing each other. What's going on?
No one was killing anything.
Yeah.
That's what was happening.
It was the opposite
Nothing
of
was
what-
dying.
the opposite of what I said.
Yeah.
I mean, there was Thunderwolves or whatever they are called, and they were sitting in the center, and they just would never fucking die.
Right. You mentioned this. This was
Yeah.
a Space Wolves Imperial Knights.
So the
Yeah.
main strategy what we had, and we had this right from the start. We're like, okay, we got this. All right, he's gonna charge in. So I'm gonna throw in some fodders, throw some Crusaders. It's gonna stop him in the center, and you're
Yeah.
gonna shoot them all down with the Doomstalkers unless he shows his Canis Rex.
Right.
Then we'll go after that.
Right.
He didn't show his Canis Rex, so that
Right.
means wolves die. Wolves didn't die. I think I actually that round. I think I killed more with my multi-melter, 2 multi-melters.
I
than
killed
you
2
did.
wolves with
Oh,
3.
then I did too. I killed
Yeah.
2 with each one. So
Yeah.
wow, nothing
A
happened.
Thunderwolf cover? That's strong. I don't. Like they're-
Listen,
are
when
they tough?
people make 4-ups,
Oh,
they're
just make
invincible.
4-ups. Yeah, just make 4-ups. Just make 4-ups.
But yeah, no,
easy.
even with the Devoon shots, it's like, oh, I have 2 shots like that. And
Right,
it's just with the
right.
Doomstalker, they're so swingy. I love their Overwatch. Their Overwatch is so
Yeah,
good.
especially with rerolls. Yeah.
So
love
good.
it with rerolls.
Yeah.
Didn't you kill the armor general Overwatch?
I killed like a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
I killed
you're-
more
yeah.
in Overwatch than I
I think
did
every
in actual
round you killed
shooting.
more. Yeah, absolutely you did. Yeah, because your rerolls were so hot, and then
Yeah.
on the rerolls, your wounds were good.
Yes.
But now when you're actually shooting, when he was actually shooting, his wounds were
Just
terrible.
garbage.
It was
He would
not.
hit.
That's how it works.
He'd hit max, so D6 all
Yeah.
the time,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then hit probably about 4 or 5,
And then just fail.
and then 1s and 2s.
1s and 2s.
Yeah,
that
that
happened
was
to like
what's
6
happening.
shots.
Gonna
Gonna
happen.
and 1
Fucking-
activation. But yeah.
Yeah, I was.
I know. I was like, after the first turn, I was like, oh, it's over. It's done. Like my entire army shooting killed 2 wolves. So like,
it
what
just
am I?
happens. It just happens.
What am I
sometimes.
supposed to do?
Like the term casino cannon gets tossed around too much,
Yeah.
but that's what that feels like for sure.
Yeah.
Even with rerolls. So that's good. That's current list. It's a little bit of breakdown of the meta. The last thing I want to get to, and real quick, if you don't mind, is I think I've said this before. I think we will see Necrons get adjustments before the next data slate. I don't think they're going to wait.
Yeah.
Whatever they do, like a points in 3 months, and then like a data slate in 6 or whatever it is. I think we're going to see. I'll ask you actually. I'm of the opinion we'll probably see Necron changes within the next couple of months.
I see end of April is me, but
I would love for that
so
to be the case.
2 months ish.
Yeah.
Do you think we will, and what do you think we'll see?
I would hope so, just because for me, I like when my army is a strong middle of the pack. It feels good to play.
Yeah, for sure.
It feels like there's good matchups, there's bad matchups, but the game just feels healthier. I don't want to be the 65% win rate Aldari player. You know, it's not.
I like to further that too, because it sucks going against an opponent like, of course you're Necrons.
Yeah.
Oh, obviously you choose the best list. Like, no, this is what I always play, and yeah, they're good right now. But
100%. I'm in the exact same boat. If I'm ever the top dog of the meta, I'm like, I don't want to play this army anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to be the underdog. I want to be slugging it out. We're going to a tournament this weekend.
Can I question you on this stuff? Have you played Death Guard when they first started 10th?
No,
because that is the worst. That was the worst army ever to exist.
God awful.
Oh, they were so bad.
You weren't underdog in that situation. You were.
I lost every match always.
Dog shit.
I think wasn't
tier.
Edmec worse though?
I don't
think so.
No?
In early 10th,
I had movement
Death Guard was
4
nothing.
and -1 toughness.
At least
they
you
were
had a
fucked.
detachment roll you could play the game.
Not
with.
really.
Spread the sickness.
Not really.
Yeah,
They
I
had to
guess
give them
so.
a second detachment roll, basically. But to your point,
Contagion
I agree
roll.
entirely. As soon as you are the meta hotness, there's meta chasers. We're probably the opposite of meta chasers. Like going into a tournament this coming weekend, I'm like, do I play my Imperial Knights, who I have more practice into, and I've been like kind of like honing to get better and better, or do I just play any amount of Necrons and probably do okay? Like that doesn't feel good though.
I say Necrons, but
I mean,
Yeah.
I would advocate for enjoying Catans while you can.
Right. What do you think we'll see in the next 2 months?
I want Catans to go up. I want Silent King
All
to
of
go
them?
down. Yeah, I'm fine with that. It's just, I want power to get shifted. I don't want just Catans to go up.
Okay.
And then that's all that happens.
Sure.
Like I would like, because the Necron Codex is a huge codex. -3 now that we
pretty big.
lost 3 notable lore characters. Rest in peace.
2 named characters too. That was fucking
3
rude.
named.
Nemesis?
Oberyn.
Oh, you're right. 3.
Yeah, it was Anrakir and then Zandrak.
Traveler,
Oh.
Zandrak, and Oberon. That's right.
and Cedric in 9th, he was the one that gave you like all the crazy stratagem stuff, right?
He had the crazy like the random like leading rule too in this edition because he's insane. So you get like lethal hits.
Zandrak was a big like loss.
And didn't you-
because
people played him-
Zandrak was super cool, like you said, with the whatever the crazy mental madness, whatever it was. So he used to give
Eternal
sustained
madness.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
It was sustained or lethal or
Dev.
precision or dev. Was it dev?
It was Dev.
And he also he was our vect. He was our source of
Our
vect.
Vex.
Oh,
too,
that's what it
yeah.
was.
Yeah,
That's
we
what it was.
lost our
Yeah.
Vect in their
And
codex.
didn't you team him up with
Oberyn?
Nemesis? Like you teamed them both up.
So Nemesis and Oberyn. Well, Oberyn's is Nemesis' Zandrak's
'Kay.
bodyguard,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you could take him always, but you're capped at 2 units for like characters in a unit. Oberyn gave a unit fight first, which I thought
Yeah.
was Necrons don't get fight first.
Yeah, we don't have any.
So having that ability to just
but
do
it was
that was
super
fun.
awkward because he was not a noble himself.
Yeah.
So you couldn't take him with Lichguard and get their bonus.
Yeah.
So you would have to take
Zandrak.
You would have to take Zandrak with him, which is good, but then you're not taking a Technomancer.
Yes. Yeah.
It was super awkward, and I understand why they changed it, but to just straight drop 3 named characters going into a codex seems
And to addition where
wild.
immortals are good now. Plus, imagine
Right.
if the immortals had their +1 wound. That'd be cool.
crazy,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah, we got a little bit sidetracked. You have a wish list, obviously, what you want.
Yeah.
What do you think will happen though? So you think
so
Catan
Catans are
go up?
definitely going up. I would be fine if they hit race a little bit too.
What do you think they'll do?
Is that because you just don't want to paint them, or
Okay, well, maybe.
Yes.
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 It most definitely is. I don't want to pay my interiors.
hey, no, then fair. But honestly, they should though. There should be some kind of nerf on
Do you
them.
think what do you think the change
I
is?
would
though?
start
Fight
light.
of Binval, maybe.
No,
Okay.
I wouldn't do that.
I think reversion to 3 wounds is probably enough. I think
that's fair.
I think it's too drastic. I think it's too drastic.
Kaz,
No
what
way,
does
no
the
way.
pro think?
I want to shift the wounds, give them a slight points increase, like maybe 5 points a model.
Okay.
And then give me 3-up weapon skill back.
What? That's a buff.
Yeah.
No,
No,
wait, hold on.
I want them to shift
No.
race from being.
This isn't even a hot take
Listen.
alert. This is a fucking bullshit take alert.
Yeah,
What is
way.
going on?
I just you want magic
drop
Christmas
the-
let it
drop the
happen.
wounds,
Hey?
increase
Cass,
the points.
Cass, real quick, between me and you, I don't think this guy's a pro.
Unbelievable. Necrons have too many things that are designed around tar pitting.
Okay.
Like between Lich Guard, between Warriors, between Race. And Scorpegs don't fit the bill for
No,
like
of course
just
not.
a killy unit.
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
don't think it's unreasonable to want something that's mobile, that can fight and not die. In reasonable combat. Like to live through one combat phase.
But you can't be
You can't
super
have your
super
cake, yeah.
tough
Fine.
and kill
All
stuff.
right, how about we meet
You
in the
can't
middle
be
here?
Custodes.
No, yeah, that's fair.
Okay, 3-up weapon skill. Keep the wounds at 4. 5-up invul.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's like
There.
That's a good pitch.
I think that's
a
where
good,
we're
That's a
at.
good
Yeah.
pitch, Cass.
I
I
mean,
think you're onto something.
Lich Guards and Lich Guard and Wraith are fundamentally the same unit, and I don't want them to be.
Well, and here's the thing.
Oh, there's more wounds in the 6.
Here's
Yes.
let me ask
Yeah.
you this: as the professional, do you think?
Why are you going after this?
I told you we only have professionals on our show.
It's on my resume.
Dave was a pro. This is our Necron pro. That's how it works. Do you think? What do you think would happen if they let Lich Guard take Technomancers again? Do we lose Lit? Do the race no longer get played overnight, or is that like a toss up kind of thing?
I think the biggest. Well, you just probably play Awakened. Like you're never taught.
Right? Do you play Awakened with Lich Guard?
Yeah, I would. I probably would.
I think that's a cool change.
Because I just like Lich Guard more.
Just give Lich Guard Technomancers.
So
back?
just for our viewers, what's the Awaken army rule?
The Awaken Dynasty army rule is +1 to hit if you're being led by a character.
Yeah, it's
I think it's either a Technomancer or a Cryptek or whatever. But one of the changes that we got from Index to Codex was Lich Guard cannot take a Cryptek at all, period. You
Yep.
can't put nothing with them.
Yep.
But Wraiths gained them. So I think for what it's worth, not being a pro, in the next 2 months, I think we maybe see Lich Guard get Cryptex back. I think that would be a cool change. I think that would be like
I
a
would
wish list
definitely
thing.
enjoy that.
It just opens that data sheet up because right now it's like, why would you ever take Lich Guard if you can just take Wraiths?
Yeah.
And they have to be the coolest models.
They fit the same
Lich
design
Guard are
space.
super cool.
I think they're the coolest models in the entire codex.
Yeah.
My favorite.
I like Scorpex personally.
You
Because
do?
I have
Yeah, you're a Scorpex guy?
Destroyer brain.
I don't know. Catan's are really cool too.
What do you know about Destroyer
No,
cults?
whoa, hold
Catans
on.
are cool.
The Catan Deceiver does not look cool,
What are you talking about?
bro. It's ugly. It's old as fuck.
Okay.
It's on a tiny little base.
Have you seen the one I painted?
Yeah, your Majin Buu.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super cool. But that's not what oh, your custom thing looks cool.
Yeah,
That's not
awesome.
the actual model.
I think
what they
all
look like.
jokes aside, I would really want the Silent King to go down. I miss playing with the
I
Silent King.
think that's fine.
Yeah, I
Down
think,
from Blaze at 420.
Yep.
Down to like 380, something like that.
385 might be the number.
I think
That's
that'd
fine.
be great.
That's fine.
Yeah,
we can
yeah.
do that. You want weird race changes? That's fine. What else?
I think we all came to a consensus. The rate
Catan
change
go
at
up-
3-5 involved.
Yeah,
That's
some
it.
true.
That's
some
where we're
kind of
at.
consensus. Yeah,
Catan's
I agree
20
with it.
points each.
20
points each
Jesus
for-
Murphy.
For each
increase?
Catan. No,
Oh,
just that
damn.
like a solid 20, so you could take.
Yeah, everybody gets 20.
Everyone gets 20 Catans.
Oh, come on,
Remove
that's
the unit
crazy.
limit on them as well.
What about the vault?
The vault? Oh, make the vault 100 points.
It
Yes.
still would not get taken.
This is supposed to be a
I
competitive,
guarantee you, it would still not get taken.
competitive, fun thing, and now we're just having fun.
We didn't agree on what the footprint of the vault is. It's like 9 inches by.
Oh, it's-
Is it 9 inches by 9 inches?
So-
it's fucking massive.
I don't know.
It's
actually.
massive. Well, I at that beachhead GT where the guy brought
Right.
5 Catans plus the Tesseract vault, I have no idea how he moved that thing around.
He didn't. I guarantee you didn't. If it was on GW terrain, he didn't.
Only lost one game in that event, but
It's wild. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me.
but yeah, no, it takes serious brain power to move that Catan vault around in the current terrain format.
Well, didn't this is GT last year though? I think a Dark Angels player just took a bunch of Valkyries or something
yeah,
and won. He had 2, and just placed them right in the board.
What's a Valkyrie?
It's a big ship.
For the viewers, Cass.
I don't know how to
Big ship.
describe it. I have no idea.
It's a big ship.
It's just a big
It's
ship.
a big old ship. Is it a
Yeah.
tank? Is it a boat? Is it a what is it?
It's the are they called Thunderhawks? Maybe.
Oh, it is like a flyer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That could be what they're called.
When I think ship, when you say ship, I think like Drukhari boats. So
Oh,
it's like a
okay.
ship.
Oh,
That's
I
like
see what
actually
you're
it's
saying.
like a ship.
No, I'm like,
we're talking aircraft.
It's an air, yeah.
Got it.
But they
It's a
name them
flyer
all after
aircraft,
birds
whatever.
and
Got it, cool.
Valkyries. I don't know if you know this in
Norse mythology.
Greek with Norse mythology. Yeah, Norse mythology. Yeah. They are women with wings.
They are.
Wow.
That's right. They are the ones who take the dead soldiers up to Valhalla.
Look at that real life lore.
That's real life lore, you guys. And
Real
also,
life.
Is there not a Valkyrie in 40K? There must be. Something's called
Yeah,
Valkyrie. There's
there's
a
Valkyries,
Valkyrie, like a guard have a flyer.
Valkyries
I
are
think.
like the drop ships.
Yeah.
That's what we were just talking about. The Valkyrie.
Oh,
ships.
okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
They're just like Imperium flyers.
Oh, I thought they were. You said Dark Angels. I thought they were just guard. But yeah.
Imperium.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's just Imperium ship.
Games Workshop traditionally hates flyers.
In 10th edition, they sure do.
Well, it's just a holdover from many like Hemlock fighters from like Craft Worlds. They
No
were
idea.
like psychic fighters. They were like stupid to play against. When aircrafts dominate the meta, the game's like not fun. So they made sure to gut aircrafts going into this edition.
So that sounds so for a person who's only played 10th edition. I'm the baby. That sounds like what it was with Towering at the beginning of 10th.
You're right.
Similar.
Yeah.
Similar.
No,
similar
pretty much the
vibes.
exact.
Right.
That's the way they treated them for sure.
Because
Yeah.
because aircraft actually still do have the old towering rule. If you are in like aircraft mode, not hover mode, right?
You can shoot
You
them,
can.
yeah.
It's the old towering rule.
I think they did that too because the rules got a little bit more complicated with pivots.
yeah,
And that's the reason why they wanted to make 10th a little bit more simple for newer players.
Right.
A pivot rule is just weird because everything's at 90-degree angles, and some people don't even think that way, right? They're like, oh, but I obviously can see that because I'm right here. Well, you have to pivot it, and then you have to pivot again
Right.
and count as a movement, and then then you. It just made the game a little bit more complicated in a way where if I want to situate my aircraft in the field, how do I face it? What do I do? And
Yeah.
I think that is a reason why they kind of just
Well,
totally nerf them.
and back in the day, facing was a thing too. Like you had your front armor profile, your
Yeah,
side armor.
there
and-
is-
Well, and if we
they've
wanted to
gone
play
so
Horus
far from
Heresy,
it.
we would, right?
Right. I guess that is a whole thing. In
There
Horus
is a
Heresy.
reason why they just kind of phase them out.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
definitely don't want you playing aircrafts these days.
No, I guess not. Which is kind of unfortunate because like my brother plays guard and he loves him some flyers.
Yeah.
They're super. He just likes what's that that game, that computer game where you're War Dogs or Warhawks or something like that, where you're playing like very realistic like fighter simulator
like the
basically.
fighter, yeah.
He loves that shit. He's all about that stuff. So he's like, I want to play guard. I want to play like 5 flyers. No, don't. Please
Yeah.
do not do that. You will be very sad
Oh,
if you do that.
what do we got in Necrons? We got Night Sights? Or what are the bigger ones?
We got the croissants. We got
croissants.
The big
these-
old croissants. It is a night scythe
They-
and
they-
a doom
why do you call them?
scythe.
No, they're not actually called croissants.
We
No, they're
lost
not
the.
called
I think we
croissants.
lost
Okay, I was like, come on, guys.
That's not their
Night
real
Scythe.
names.
Night Scythe and Doom Scythe.
Yeah, night
Yeah,
scythe
yeah,
and doom
yeah,
scythe.
yeah.
We
Correct.
lost the bomber, I believe, the Forge World one.
Oh, was there a Forge World?
There was a Forge World bomber.
News to me.
There, the transporting rules for like as a fast transport to like
Yeah.
deliver stuff. The Night Scythe is pretty neat, and the Death Sphere on the Doom Scythe is actually like a very well statted weapon. But yeah, no, it's just like all aircrafts have an insane tax on them right now,
Yeah,
just
they're
because
very
they
expensive.
don't want you to play them.
Yeah,
Just don't play them. Yeah, you're right. The night scythe has like you can like come on the field and also drop units on turn 1, like kind of crazy stuff. There's just not a lot of play for it. It's just
Yeah.
awkward. It's a lot of points. It's like you can do the same thing with Immortals with a translocation overlord
Yeah.
and move 11
Right.
inches and
Right,
shoot.
right,
Like,
right.
it doesn't matter. You don't need
They're
to
a lot
do you
cheaper,
don't you don't
yeah.
need to do this for a night scythe. I was just looking it up. 145 points.
Yeah, it's way
Skip
way
it.
too much.
Skip it.
Yeah.
Not worth it.
Awesome. Well, we're actually at that
That magic time.
that magic time where we hit the hour and 30 minutes, and I just want to thank Aiden here for coming on and sharing your, other crazy thoughts and or just copying other lists or whatever it is.
fair enough,
But
fair enough.
no, but giving your insight in Necrons too, and I appreciate it. I felt like I learned something there too. I'm not an avid Necron player anymore. I used to be maybe in the beginning of 9th, and now.
How dare you, sir?
But I, hopefully maybe Ben learned something. Then
I learned so much things.
yeah, and
no.
I learned that. What did I learn? I learned that I should not be ashamed for taking 4 Catan.
Nope.
That's what that's what you taught me
you
today.
took 5.
I did
you
take
took
5.
five.
I lost.
You never played Catan before. like in the previous editions. You get to play
Okay.
Catan now, and I think it's a long-deserved
Glow up.
Catan glow up.
Glow ups,
Yeah.
glow ups.
Yeah.
So I'm glad people got to play with their Catan models, especially the new Void Dragon, because they just weren't
Yeah.
playable.
And they're such
before.
centerpiece models too,
Yeah.
just like you say, like with the Silent King and everything else.
Some of them are. The Void Dragon is
A centerpiece model.
The Nightbringer's
The
on like a
Deceiver.
40 mil base. I don't think it's a
Oh,
centerpiece.
yeah, that's
Do you know what's funny? Little segue.
Yes.
In that Buddy Storm moving against Necron in round 1, and he had his whole army out. This is James. So beautifully painted Necron army. It's so cool. He had his whole army out, and I'm like, this seems not like 1,000 points. He's like, oh right, I forgot. And he like brought out the Nightbringer. It's like this little tiny thing. Like, oh great, now we can do this. Oh yeah, now this makes sense. Like
There's 40 mil, 3 inches.
It was so tiny. It was in his
255
styrofoam,
points.
and he just brought it out. He's like, oh okay, yeah, that's.
But
where
thank
we're
you.
at.
But thank
Yeah,
you. I appreciate
Yeah,
you
no.
letting us Catan enjoyers feel good about ourselves.
for sure. It's really fun to be here. It's first time on here, so hoping to come back once I get a few more tournament Ws.
Oh, well, you
Beat
are.
out David Corin in top tables.
You will.
Yeah, of course.
Easy.
Dave's
Easy.
he's cute.
Easiest
but
games of my
he's
life,
cute, but
I'm
he's
pretty sure.
he's just a Grey Knights
He's
player.
just a pretty face.
He's just a
Yeah.
Grey Knights player.
Yeah, true.
Big brain.
No. Yeah.
Pretty face.
Big brain. Pretty face. That is.
That's
and then, hey guys, if you want to keep seeing our content here, we appreciate the views. I can't believe, all of us, I think we're freaking shocked at the amount of views we got in 4 episodes. So thank you so much for your support, all the U.S. viewers, England viewers. This is awesome. I hope you guys are learning something from us. And please like and subscribe for more, and we'll keep pushing it out. If there is anything you want to hear, maybe a faction you want to hear, like we said, in Western Canada, we actually are very competitive, and we have a lot of people we kind of want to pick their brains and learn from. So let us know what you want to hear, and we'll get it going. Okay?
Yeah, the response to our content has been extremely surprising. The last episode with Dave is doing fantastic. People want to hear these. I think people like these faction focuses, and we'll keep doing it. If you want to hear some nitty gritty on whatever it is, AdMech, if you want some weird stuff, we're into it. We have such a pool of talent to pull from here. Please keep watching, keep liking, keep hitting subscribe, and just smash that notification bell, punch it in the mouth so that you never miss our episodes.
And I do want to add on one thing too. In the future, part of our goal is to get battle reports on here. We have a venue.
Ooh.
We can do stuff.
All right.
This is the next things that are coming up.
Hot take alert.
This is the hot take. Thanks for Caxbar Podcast for even hosting us and letting us rent out their studio.
Love those guys.
We couldn't have done it without them, with all their tech and everything
Could
else.
not.
So appreciate that. But they're gonna maybe give us some room for a battle report.
Ooh.
Hope to see it.
Spicy.
I like to see Aiden with his Doomstalkers and
Silent King.
yeah, and the Silent King.
right,
Yeah. So we'll see that soon. And hey, thank you again, guys, and have a good night. Okay.
Night.
See ya.